Welcome everybody, I'm Rudy Mettia and welcome to your 30-minute shoulder flow. Today we're going to work on shoulders. So let's get settled in. You guys here with me, Kelly and Catherine and John, you guys lay on your backs please. And when you lay on your backs, I want you guys from over there, I want you to look, John, roll this way, roll to your right sides, or yeah, to your right side. And I want you to take the left arm. Now, we're going to get this thing started slowly, but we're going to do a lot of shoulder work. So bear with us. Take the left arm, reach it up to the sky. And so Catherine can see me. Bring the left hand behind the back and see if you can bring the fingertips between the shoulder blades a little bit. If you got a shoulder injury and that's too much for you, don't worry so much about getting the fingertips really rotated, but the deeper is going to be a little bit better as far as sensation goes. And then roll back onto your backs. And make sure, just check in, because I want the deeper the elbow is towards the kidney and the higher the fingertips are to the shoulder blade, the more of a rotation of the shoulder. So an internal rotation of the shoulder. It could be a little tender for some of us. So cognizant of that, and likewise, if you feel like it's too much for you, you can always slide your hand down a little bit. With the palm flat and the knuckles into the spine, just begin to breathe. As we always do in the practice before we really get started, we want to settle in. And the best way to settle in is to get the mind focused. And in yoga, the best way to get the mind focused, other than sensation, is, of course, the cognizant or realization of the breath deep and free, each moment you can through the nose. So those of you guys here and those of you at home, just breathe into the hand, the hand behind the back, imaginatively. And you should, as you do that, shoulda, woulda, coulda, as you do that, as you breathe into the hand, in other words, feel the lungs until you can feel the lungs expand into the left hand behind your back. Also imagine drawing the back of your left shoulder towards the floor without torquing it, just gravity. As you'll see me say a lot of times, just the weight of your patience will pull you into the pose. And breathe. I can't keep you here long. This is a 30-minute flow, so we got to move a little quickly, but in my pace of moving quickly, you still take your time. All right, so let's move out of that. Roll back onto your right side, and of course, we'll just change sides. Roll to the other side, change the arms, right hand behind the back. I'll do it again for you guys at home. And tuck it between the shoulder blades. See how my right elbow is into my body? So again, if your elbow's out here, you have very little rotation or less rotation. If you're injured, that could be a good thing. But if you feel like you got more health there, pull the hand a little deeper and then roll back onto your backs again. And breathe again. The reason I would do shoulders, in our lifestyle, we're so hunched over laptops and hunched over steering wheels and just typically collapsing our shoulders, to do work. Or by nature, we're like grapplers for life. We're always wrestling with life and we're hunched over. So shoulder work gives us a chance to counter that, to blossom the shoulders back and lift the chest up and feel free, free through the shoulder girdle. And you guys breathe again. Does it feel good? And imagine again, drawing the shoulder onto the floor, the back of the right shoulder onto the floor without over forcing. Catherine, you breathing? Are you sure? Okay. John, breathing? All right, now from here, same thing. Finally pull the right arm out from behind you. You may want to roll to your left side. Come back onto your backs again and then squeeze both knees into the chest. And just for the sake of getting a little momentum so you can gracefully sit up, start to roll forward and backward, gaining enough speed to where you just roll up to sitting. Then when you get to sitting, just cross the legs out of the way and just take it back to downward facing dog. And we'll take a couple minutes in down dog. Love down dog. I mean, to me, it's a shoulder stretch, of course, as you sink the heart down towards the toes. But also just to hold the weight of your body. It's a shoulder strengthener. As you can see by John's defined shoulders. So it does work the muscle a bit, right? Hands are about shoulders distance apart. Feet are about hips distance apart. And then we do down dog in all these practices, but today's emphasis of down dog, all you do is just change your perspective. So instead of being a great pose, which it is, maybe emphasize the work of the shoulders. See Kelly's hands here? Almost imagine the right hand is turning clockwise, the left hand is turning counterclockwise. If you see my hands, this action. but without actually turning the hands. It's more of a muscular thing. It more relates into the shoulder girdle. So as you wrap the triceps towards the pinky toes, it feels like you broaden the upper back. And then breathe. And in these poses, when you get into these poses, all these poses, get into the shape that the pose requires. There's just a biomechanical, gymnastic, athletic shape of poses. That's level 1 stuff. But then when you're in the pose, use the breath to expand the pose. Use the breath to create the stretch more than muscle to create the stretch. Although you have to use some muscle, of course, right? Because gravity pulls you down and your muscle has to kind of lift you out of the floor. Anyway, long story short, bend your knees, look towards your hands. No jumping, just take your time and walk your feet right up to your hands. And when your feet arrive up there, separate your feet hips distance, slide your palms up your shins, pull your heart forward, and then fold here. If you feel a little bit vulnerable, bend your knees. If you have shoulder issues, grab a strap or about this much cloth between your hands. You kids here, interlace your fingers behind the small of your back. So let's say, for example, Kelly had funky shoulders, which she doesn't. Separate your hands. She'd have a towel about this far apart. And then with a towel or a strap, she'd get a better rotation. So go ahead and bring your hands together. So that's what I would do. I'd have a towel or a strap. Should have had a towel or strap for you guys, but you can imagine it. And breathe. And then same thing here. Use the shoulder blades, squeeze them together, get that deep shoulder stretch, shoulder rotation. Within reason, you're not nearly warmed up. And in this practice, in 30 minutes, you're just basically getting warmed up. So even your stretches here should have a sense of gentleness through the course of the whole practice, since the practice is only 30 minutes. And then release the hands to the floor. But if 30 minutes is all you got, you can get a lot done. Bend your knees and slowly, with your back rounded, your head dangling, your abdomen firm, roll up to standing. These kids, when you finally get to standing, you guys at home as well, just bring the feet all the way together. And let's just move through a couple Surya Namaskar A series, 2, maybe 3, just in an attempt to get the blood kind of circulating. So with your hands in prayer position, soften for your last moment, and we'll begin this movement. Ready, Kelly? All right. On the next inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Lead with the heart, hinge at the hip, exhale, fall forward. So these guys will work for you optimally. So you just watch their example. Inhale, climb onto the fingertips. Now, on this first one for all of us, we're going to step back to plank position and hold. Part of the shoulder work, besides stretching the shoulders, is also strengthening the shoulders. So chaturangas, or in this case, high plank to low plank, which is your belly, to Cobra is a nice shoulder work. So if you need to use your knees to help protect yourself, use your knees. Take a big inhale, heart forward. And then slowly, knees or not, lower all the way to the belly. Now, when you get to low plank, pause there. Soften your bottom. I even like to soften my back muscle so I can use my triceps, in this case, my front deltoid, to lift up into Cobra. So on an inhale, lift up into a baby Cobra. We'll do, let's say 3. And chin to floor. And then rise up again, Cobra. Chin to floor. The reason I like Cobra versus up dog is too far to go back and forth in up dog. But inhale, Cobra, then the floor is right there. Actually tuck your toes, roll back, downward facing dog. Yeah, if you got that push up in you, whoo, that's awfully strong. For me, I like to pivot over the knees like I think Kelly did. I think those two like to do the push up part. But yeah, work according to your own abilities. Take a big inhale, hips draw back again. And as you bend the knees, look toward the front of your mat and just walk your feet to hands. Inhale, climb on the fingertips, long spine again. Look for length. Exhale, find some depth. Come on up to standing. Inhale, press down to the feet. Pull the heart forward, come up. This time when you get to standing, pause. Look up at your left hand. Your left hand is turned inboard. Take your right hand and grab your left wrist. Yeah, John's got it perfectly. So does Kelly, and Catherine's pulling up the rear. And then kick the hips out to the left and pull to the right. And for me, again, this is a different pose, right? Lateral flexion. But for me, I think shoulder stretch on this left deltoid. Breathe. And then come back to the center. And then just change the hands to the other side. and get a little stretch through, let's say, the right deltoid and the right latissimus muscle, and also right lateral flexion, or extension, I should say. Come back to center, bring the hands to prayer position. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Let's do another vinyasa, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dip, dive, and fold. At the bottom, the breath is squeezed out. Inhale, pull the heart forward, go for length. Step back, upward push-up. Use your knees if you like to modify the vinyasa. Down we go through the vinyasa. Inhale, cobra. You kids, if you want up dog, you're welcome to it. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Notice how John did the push-up. So if you're feeling strong, do the push-up as well. Matter of fact, we'll probably do some strong strength work. For me, for shoulder work, you know, I need that polarity, I need the strength work, and then I need the release work, the stretching work. Let's do one more of these. Inhale, draw hips back away from those strong shoulders. Bend the knees, look towards the hands, and walk, feet to hands. Inhale, lengthen out again. Exhale, fold. Bravo, kids. Come on up. Inhale, press down and rise up. This time when you get to the stop, interlace your fingers and flip the palms to the sky. And again, a lot of times we use this just to get length, and sometimes we'll use this for a back bend. But today, I just want you to think about pushing the ceiling away, and as you push the ceiling away, draw the shoulders down the back. Take one more inhale, and then from there, we're going to fall all the way forward and squeeze the breath out again. So just a little twist, if you will. Inhale, glance forward, step back, upper push-up, vinyasa. Not spinal twisting, but just a little twist to the journey of Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, so a little bit of shoulder work thrown in the mix to make up for our time. Exhale, downward facing dog. Whew, deep breaths, everybody. I enjoy these 30 minutes classes. I was coming back from injury, and the best I could do was about 30 minutes a day. And I felt that I got so much accomplished quality-wise that when I walked out after 30 minutes, I felt just as amazing as if it was an hour class. Look back at your feet. I want you guys to watch John's feet, particular from that side over there, you guys at home from over there. Walk your feet like 2 or 3 inches towards your hands, 2 or 3 inches. Let's say for you at home, maybe a half step forward. The reason I want you to do that, it gives you a little bit of an advantage to take the right hand, reach across the belly button, and grab the outer left ankle. Now, when we're doing it on the other side, I'll show you. Well, I can show you on Kelly here from that angle. Use the right arm to create a little bit of a twist. See this twist to the spine? See, I love that. It looks like a spiral staircase, right? And we use that, and we also use it to lengthen this right latissimus or widen this right latissimus. And the arm presses down, so it's a nice thing for the shoulder. And also you get the down dog going, and you get the leg muscles going, and the length of the spine, all those things from down dog. And then let's change sides, go to the other side. And then you guys will be able to see it really good on John on this side. Left hand, and use the left arm to create this width across the left latissimus. And also you see how the spine has this beautiful, subtle twist. And the right arm is pressing strongly, and the heels are sinking deeply, and the breath is flowing. And then bring that hand back to where it was. Now, look back at your toes. I'm thinking walk your feet back that half step that you borrowed. John's the strongest one in the room, of course, in this case. So not of course, but he is. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the left knee, John, and set the left knee on the floor. Turn the right foot flat. He's going to do it, not the rest of you. Nope, the rest of you stay there. He's going to do the modified side arm press, right arm to the sky. You guys roll to the outer edge of your left foot, stack the right foot on top, do the full effects. So sometimes there's great strength and restraint, right? Breathing. So if you're injured, that's a perfect one if you want to take a little weight out of the shoulder. If you want to be challenged, then here it is, of course. And then once again, think about what's going on in the left shoulder. So really focusing on what the left shoulder is telling you. And then take the right arm up into the right ear and reach out. I tend to talk a lot in poses, and I notice the look on their face. I can see what they're thinking. Shut up. Come back around. Hand down, down dog. Downward facing dog. Now for me, a little more shoulder strength. We're going to take our right leg and lift our right leg to the sky. Feet together, right leg lifts to the sky. And I just want you to hold this for a moment. Square your hip, Kelly. Turn that hip down. Listen, when you go ahead and open the hip like you were. When you do that, you lose the stability of the shoulder. So what you do is once you square, and also it has something to do with the sacrum, of course. But what I like about it, if you keep the leg squared and driven back, it makes the pose, in my imagination, 25% heavier because one of your pillars is off the floor. So now you're held on by 2 arms and a leg. And breathing. And then just to get a little core work in this short class, we're going to bring the knee right into the nose and coil like a Halloween cat round the back. Inhale, extend back, and just take a couple breaths there and just let it percolate. You guys know what percolation is? You used to have percolators before Starbucks. Anybody know what percolators are? Anyone of you guys know? No, you don't. Catherine doesn't know. Just for that, 2 more repetitions. No, 1 more rep. Knee to nose, squeeze it back in. How's those shoulders? Leg back up. Now, you're going to use that same action, but you're going to step the right foot between the fingertips. Step through and pause. Whew. Let's for kicks, climb both hands up onto the right knee and lift the chest up a little bit. Oh, deep breaths, everybody. They're starting to sweat in here. Let's take the arms up to the ceiling. I'll show you on Kelly. Take the arms up, but we're going to do what I call Shiva arms. This is, I think, is a cool shoulder stretch. Catherine and John, if you don't need to see, you may want to watch too. We're going to cross the forearms and reverse the palms and bring the palms together. So forearms cross, palms flip out. And it's almost like walk like an Egyptian, not eagle arms. Check his out. There you go. More like this. And cross. Palms together, really wrists together more than forearms now that I look at it. And then what I like to do is pull those biceps by the ears. How about a little bend in the elbow like you're crowning yourself with your hands? A little bend in the elbow. Bend the elbows, child. And then pull the elbows back a little bit. Get that shoulder work. Take 1 more breath here, and we're going to open up to Warrior 2. And when you open up to Warrior 2, make sure you do that little foot adjustment because that's the thing for the groin and the knee. I'm exhausted. You guys good? How about a stretch this way? We're going to take the left arm, swing it behind the back, and try to hook the right thigh with the fingertips. Easier said than done if you're wide like John. Turn the right palm up, and we're going to go back into Revolve Warrior and just get a kick out of that little bit of a weird shoulder thing going. Now, for me, a little bit, to be honest with you, I'm so hyper cautious about everything. For me, when I lean back into that Revolve Warrior, I feel a little bit of unnecessary stress, perhaps if I go too far on that left shoulder. So just pay attention to that. If you don't feel it, good for you. Now from there, come back to second warrior with both arms out and straighten the front leg. Take an inhale and triangle, triangle. So when we do some of these classes, for example, back bend class or shoulder class or forward bend class or whatever classes we're doing, I want to hit the rest of the body too, so globally your whole body feels warmed up and free. But we emphasize in particular classes, particular things. So our intention is everything in yoga. It's not what we do, it's how we do it. We're going to take the left hand behind the back again, hook that inner right thigh. Now you get to rest a little bit, so you press down through your right arm if the hand's on the floor, but mostly the strength of the legs holds you up, and you roll that left shoulder open. And you breathe. Hi, Catherine. And you look up if it's available. My head weighs 900 pounds, so I kind of look down because I have no choice. My head just goes, oh. Well, look at her, she looks up. How old are you?
I'm not telling you.
Sorry, ask the woman how old she is. How old are you?
29 still.
23, she'll tell you. 23. Anyway, when you're 23, you look up. When you're 53, you just, you know, you look up too because you think you're going to heaven any moment. Release the left arm, take the left arm up to the sky. That feel good? Take the left arm up and over the left ear. Breathe. Kelly's like, how'd I get in the middle, Matt? It's slow motion, bend the right knee. Back to Revolve Warrior because we're kind of getting on to our time. Revolve Warrior, hands to the floor, down dog, and breathe. I know, moving along. We're going to take the left leg, lift the left leg to the sky. What's our intention with the left leg? To add weight to the upper body. So the left leg becomes a dumbbell, if you will. And we're pushing the floor away. So imagine taking the front edge of your yoga mat and pushing it through your house. And the right heel pushes the back, or the right foot pushes the yoga mat to the back of the house. And everything in between gets that lengthening and strengthening. And then remember this part, knee to nose, squeeze in, really round the back. And be here with your abs, but also be here with the weight bearing down through your arms and working into your shoulders. Take the leg back up. So yoga is a beautiful way to sculpt the body. The body adapts to the stress you put on it. So you put on this beautiful, compassionate stress. And knee to nose. It's not like you're being violent in the gym or something, but it's be like, I'm putting a little weight on myself. Leg back up, a little stress on my body to make my body stronger. Step your left foot all the way through. Come into that lunge and hands onto the top of the left knee. And lift the chest again. Pause. We're going to do a little bit of a different stretch, I believe. What we're going to do is we're going to swing the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. I was going to do the sheave arms again, but it's so confusing. So from there, draw the shoulder, actually it's a good stretch. We can draw the shoulders back and lift the chest up. Be careful. What I do is I try to drive my hands down towards my tail or down towards the floor versus back behind me. When I take the hands to the back wall, I feel like I'm getting an overstretch of the shoulder. So straight down feels good. Once you get straight down, then back a little bit perhaps. Take one more inhale. Take both arms up to the ceiling. Inhale. Open up the second warrior. Remember, stay in second warrior. Swing the right hand behind the back. Hook the thigh. Flip the left palm up for that shoulder rotation. Go into the revolve warrior version. Breathing. Again, in your zeal, don't let your left knee collapse. Keep your left knee pressing over your second toe. Keep sitting down your left hip. Not to mention making a muscle with that back right leg. And in your zest to open up that left chest, don't over tweak the right shoulder. Now come back to second warrior, straighten the left leg and triangle. Right hand behind the back again, hooks the inner left thigh again. This time, roll the chest open. It's less, I feel like it's less intense. I mentioned don't over tweak the shoulder. Don't tweak the shoulder at all. Don't over effort is the word I would think. Not over efforting is key to yoga, everybody. For consistency and longevity is not over efforting. Effort, but not over effort. John, you're not taking a hand behind the back? He's revolting. Just for that, you must be adjusted in a very violent way. Now breathe. All right, from there, take the right arm up and over the right ear. Whole different stretch, isn't it? Like a big old lateral stretch. Bend the left knee, come back to second warrior. Revolve warrior, just to say we've been there, done that. Hit the floor, downward facing dog. All right, let's go back and get that shoulder strength on the other side. So this time, both feet together. And remember last time how you could use your knee? John demonstrated the knee down version. Otherwise, roll to the outer edge of the right foot, stack the left foot on top, side arm press. And another thing is key. Remember, certain days we do certain poses. This pose to me a lot of time has to do with core. Of course, it still does. But I maybe just want to emphasize that rotation in the shoulder and the press out of the shoulder and breathe. 3, we'll take the left arm up and over left ear, get that little side stretch as well. How you guys doing, good? Yeah. And then slowly come back around and we'll go back to plank position, and just press back, downward facing dog. Good, everybody. Let's float to plank position. From plank position, let's drop onto our forearms. Interlace your fingers. We're doing dolphin. So you guys at home, if you don't understand dolphin, you're just in plank. And the way you turn it into dolphin is you look back at your toes and walk your toes towards your elbows till your bottom gets to the sky. And don't take some of you are so flexible, you take your hands all the way to your elbows, but then you start to move towards a Pinchamarasana thing where you separate your hands. But just stay in dolphin and drop your head, Kelly. And imagine the space between the crown of the head and the floor. You're trying to increase that space by just driving through the shoulders. 4, 5. As you're driving through the shoulders, little bit of a convexing or concaving of the thoracic spine. The spine melts towards the toes, that old cliche melting. I like that better than forcing. Hips are drawing back and heels are pressing down. We're here for 3, as long as 5 counts in the world. Now from there, what's so beautiful is don't drop it, but just very softly set your knees on the floor. Now you're in child's pose. Untangle your arms, sit your hips onto your heels. Run your arms down your wrists with your palms turned up. And then with your palms turned up, to me, it just allows my shoulders to round. And I imagine my outer shoulders kind of cascading to the floor, releasing all the tension of the shoulders. All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to walk up onto our hands and knees. How you guys feeling? Isn't that fantastic? Hands and knees, cross your ankles behind you, sit your bottom of your feet. Sit cross-legged for a moment. Cross-legged position. Inhale, sweep both arms up to the ceiling, both arms up to the sky. Interlace the fingers and flip the palms up one more time. We've done this stretch before standing, but this time, just to add a little bit of element of twist and rotation to your spine, we're going to keep the palms pressing. We're going to turn to the right the best we can. And as we turn to the right, keep drawing the biceps behind the ears. So the twist is there. It's kind of a token twist today. We didn't do any twists, but I thought just one little rotation in the spine would feel nice. But it's also a beautiful way to keep those shoulders working, isn't it? And then come back to the center and bring your hands to prayer position. Because I like you guys, when you interlace your fingers, you typically interlace the fingers the same way. Just take the fingers one finger over. It's going to definitely change the stretch. Matter of fact, it's going to make the shoulder stretch feel quite foreign. And then again, interlace the fingers, take the palms up. And then you probably guessed it, we'll twist to the left. And notice how you don't have much. It's kind of a perfect twist for you too, because since we're not really warmed up in twisting, you're not using your arms to create twist as far as levers, like hands on your knees or something. So it's going to limit the twist, but it's going to give you a great opportunity to work into those shoulders at the last moment. Attaboy, John. Come back to the center, separate your hands about shoulders distance, and fall all the way forward. There's 1,000 more things we could do for the shoulders, but in this short 30-minute class, I thought we got sufficiently into the shoulders. Enough where hopefully you feel free, you know, and better able to bear your responsibilities like Atlas. You guys here, walk your hands back. Scoot your little forward at home too, so you don't want to lay on the floor. Scoot forward so when you lay on your back, you're totally on your backs. Let's draw both knees into the chest. And finishing, before we get into Savasana, I love to finish with twist. Twist to me are balancing energetically wise. We'll take both knees, actually cross the right knee over the left knee. I'm very tempted to do eagle sit-ups, but we're not going to. You're off the hook. Take your knees to the left and take the gaze out to the right. Sometimes enough's enough. If you're in the middle of your day or just trying to catch it in a good practice before you get on with it, you made it. Come back to the center. Maybe you're doing a double today. One class is, and change sides of course. One class is a 30-minute class, another class is a 40-minute class or an hour class. Maybe today's shoulders, tomorrow's hips, the day after that back bends, and so on and so on. Endless possibilities. We'll come back to the center. These kids here, y'all are just going to stretch out the Savasana. Speaking of shoulders, turn your palms up and let your shoulders fall away from your ears and close your eyes and just be free and accomplished and finished. I'm Rudy Mettia. See you down the road. Namaste.